All eyes are on Donald Trump, if there was ever a time when they weren't. In this instance, though, we are all waiting to see who he will choose as his running mate. I have given this topic much thought, and it really could not be more obvious to me now who Trump needs to choose as his running mate. I've been largely agnostic on this question up until this point, only on the record as being outright opposed to both Kristi Noem and Doug Burgum. But out of all the VP options that by all accounts are contenders, one stands head and shoulders above all others. That is Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. As those of you who have been with me for a while know, I have supported J.D. Vance since long before his political career even began. I made a video encouraging him to run for the Senate well before his announcement came. I made numerous videos supporting him, and when Trump endorsed him, Trump signed one of my pro-Vance tweets on request of one of Vance's staffers and had it shipped to me. I supported JD because I believed in him. There was a lot of baggage out there on him from 2016 when he was a hardcore never-Trumper, but this never concerned me, because I knew that it wasn't a genuine reflection of his character. Through the time he has spent so far in the Senate, he has proven me right on that front time and time again. JD has set a new standard for what a genuinely right-wing, America First senator should look like. He has surrounded himself with a team of amazing conservative warriors, perhaps the best office in Washington. Many people will point out that if J.D. Vance becomes the vice president, Ohio Governor DeWine will get to appoint a replacement, likely Matt Dolan, who would be a massive downgrade. Other people will say we can't afford to lose him in the Senate. First of all, we can afford to lose him in the Senate. Trump choosing J.D. Vance as his vice president all but anoints him the heir to the MAGA movement. He will be in the driver's seat for the 2028 presidential election. No incumbent vice president, after all, has been denied their party's nomination, if they sought it, since 1952. If Vance is chosen by Trump as vice president, we will have all but won that election without fighting. We will have avoided a gruesome slog to prevent the rhinos from taking back control of our party, which isn't even a fight we're guaranteed to win. If J.D. Vance ran in 2028, without being chosen as vice president first, we'd be losing him in the Senate anyway because 2028 is when his first term expires. Second of all, J.D. Vance isn't stupid. He knows that DeWine would want to appoint Dolan. If he becomes vice president, he will look for a successor and he will find one. It might be Warren Davidson, Vivek Ramaswamy, Jim Jordan, or someone else. If DeWine does appoint Dolan, that candidate will be Trump and Vance endorsed, and they will probably beat Matt Dolan. Remember, Luther Strange was appointed to fill Sessions' seat and then lost to Roy Moore immediately after. Or maybe a deal can be cut with Dolan to appoint a successor of Vance's choosing. The point is, this is not a big deal. Do not be so stubborn as to let this minor inconvenience deter you from supporting the best thing that could possibly happen to the MAGA movement right now. J.D. Vance should be Trump's running mate because he has his finger on the pulse of the issues more so than anyone else in Washington. He is the opposite of an empty suit. He is an active trailblazer for America First ideology in our government. Vance has spoken about the Democrat agenda to disenfranchise American voters through mass migration and the dilution of their voting power more than any other senator, and has actively praised Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban's family stimulus programs. In a 2021 speech, he stated that parents should have a bigger say in how democracy functions than non-parents. He proposed the idea of giving votes to all children in the country, but giving control of those votes to the parents of the children. He indicated support for Orban's family loans. He introduced a bill to make English our official language. The top two priorities of the America First movement going forward have to be to stop Democrat-sponsored replacement migration and to make it easier, both socially and economically, for Americans to start their own families. I don't know who else we can trust to make that happen but J.D. Vance, because no one understands it quite like him. I could go more into depth about the things that J.D. believes and his vision for this country and the American right, but instead I will encourage you to read an interview he did with Ross Douthat in the New York Times. It'll be the top link in the description. In it, he outlines a realist vision for foreign policy that involves curbing the rise of China while bringing a peaceful end to the Ukraine war. He outlines the best defense of right-wing objections to the 2020 election and the January 6th riots that I've ever seen a Republican politician make. He is articulate, tried, and tested. J.D. Vance is the heir to America first. This is the most consequential move that Donald Trump can make right now. We don't need an uninspiring, empty suit like Doug Burgum. We don't need Marco Rubio, who wilted almost immediately after being crowned the establishment's heir in 2016. We need J.D. Vance. This has been Elect Right. America first, America always.